Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to the Gabby Hour. In today's podcast episode, we're going to be talking about all the tea when it comes to boys. Because I promise you, Miss Girl, that man, he's not your soulmate. I promise you. And we're just going to be spilling all the tea about times when I thought that man was my soulmate, when I thought that I was going to be with somebody forever and ever. Yeah, no. No, it turns out we weren't. So, if this is your first time checking out the podcast, hello, hi, I'm your host, Gabby Giselle, and welcome to the community. This is the most unhinged place on the internet, okay? We're going to be yapping, so if you're a professional yapper, feel free to just take a step back, take a break. I'll take over for you for the next hour. And make sure you guys are following us here on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Gabby Hour on all social media platforms. And check out my personal Instagram. All my personals are going to be linked down below. I also have a vlog channel here on YouTube called Gabby Giselle. So go check those out because I do vlog. I actually vlog the entire process of me starting a podcast. And also, I love to read. I've been doing quite a bit of some reading, book related videos. So if that's something you might be into, go check it out. But today's episode, guys, we're just going to be talking about my experience with boys. And as somebody who came from a Hispanic, traditional household where it was like, don't be talking about boys. We don't date boys. Oh, there was some tea. So go ahead and just buckle up for me. Buckle up and let's get into it. Today's Alani. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not an energy drink girly. I don't like anything carbonated. I love caffeine. Can't do carbonated drinks, but Alani's, if I'm going to have one, it's going to be an Alani. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. And the pink slush is my favorite. So to start, we're going to be talking about, kind of what my parents' rules were for me growing up that I was so afraid of not doing this. Okay? My parents used to be like, you're not going to have a boyfriend until you're 23. My parents were like, you're going to be a virgin till you're married. No kissing boys, no holding hands with boys. Boys weren't allowed over. I was like, it was just a no-go on anything boys, okay? They instilled the fear of God in me, okay? So serious. I was so afraid of being caught with a boy, being caught texting a boy, being around a boy, being near a boy, my parents seeing me with a boy. Now, growing up, I had a normal childhood, unlike most children these days, but we used to all hang out in the neighborhood. So there was boys in the neighborhood that I had a crush on, and that's where we're going to start, okay? Because other than Paul Walker from Fast and the Furious, I was not having any feelings for boys, okay? Maybe Austin from Austin and Ally. Do you know what I'm saying? A little bit of Ross Lynch action, a little bit of, what was the guy from Hannah Montana? The Hispanic one. And he was super annoying. Ugh, that's gonna kill me. But yeah, him. Yeah. But mostly, Paul Walker from Fast and the Furious. We used to own all the Fast and the Furious on DVD that were out at the time. And my siblings and I, we used to watch those on repeat. Okay, we love Fast and the Furious to this day. One of my favorite movies of all times. Now, just a quick side note, I can admit that it's gone a little bit of away from the central theme of car culture, and it's turned into just this movie action packed franchise almost. And there's only so many times The Rock could really just walk in with a muscle shirt on. Do you know what I'm saying? Love him, but it's getting a little bit repetitive. Do you know what I'm saying? Did I cry when Paul Walker died? Yes, I did. I cannot listen to See You Again without thinking of Paul Walker, and also now something else, but that's separate. I literally, at my 8th grade graduation, or no, it was my 8th grade, so I went to a middle school art school, okay? So we used to do what was called the all arts show, and it would be the art team, the band team, the dance team, and the theater people. Okay, we would all get together. My theater teacher, shout out Mr. Green, talked about him in the first podcast episode. Loved it. Okay, loved him. he would write a show, typically the same fucking show every year, just a little bit different. It's called like Panther Boy and Panther Girl because our school mascot was like a panther. And he would write the show, and then we would all get together and we would do the show all together. So there would be like live music from the band, the dancers would be involved, the theater team would be involved, and then people could be like the ushers, and it got the whole school involved pretty much. And we would walk over to the sister school, which was like the high school version of our school, and we would perform there. Okay. And I don't even remember where I was going with that story. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. So in my 8th grade year, we had our last all arts show, and it was like our last performance of the year. And this was like our goodbye, right? At the end, they did a dance to See You Again. And everybody in the wings of the theater was crying. They were like, I'm going to miss you so much. And blah, 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 blah. And I didn't give a fuck about any of those people. I was crying because how dare you play Paul Walker's song and not expect me to sob over him and expect me to sob over you guys that I'm probably just going to see next year? Because, hello? Like, most people were going to go to the sister school. If they weren't going there, they were going to go to the school that I was going to, which was like 20 minutes away. We still live in the same city. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like a big deal. And I didn't really have that many friends at the time anyway. So I was just kind of like, I'm not worried about y'all. I sobbed over Paul Walker. And my friends were like trying to hug me. And I was like, I literally can't believe Paul Walker is dead. And they were like, what? I was like, girl, y'all are playing Paul Walker's song. She's like, no, this is like sad because we're never going to see each other again. And I was like, yeah, we are. You're going to my school next year. I was like, I'm crying over Paul Walker. What are you crying over? And she was like, I'm crying over you and like not seeing my friends. And I was like, oh, yeah, right. Like, ew, no. What? Like, I was not close to any of those people, and I just was not here for that. But yeah, Paul Walker and me, love that man. He will forever be my first crush, my first love. He influenced my future. I love a white man with some light eyes. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, them green eyes. My friend Maddie likes to say baby blues. Like, if a man has blue eyes, she'll be like, he got them baby blues. So like that, but with green. Okay, I'm a sucker for green eyes. Blue eyes are cool too, but when I think blue eyes, I think like that scary picture of like Nash Greer with his little brother. Like, yeah, that's what I think of, and it freaks me out. So maybe not that. Yeah, growing up, I just did not like, boys were not a thing. So in the neighborhood, we had these boys, 2 boys that were older, and they were kind of like friends. And then we had my best friend in the neighborhood, her little brother, who was, I believe, my age, maybe a little bit younger, maybe like 2 months younger than me. Okay. And this is where it gets interesting because in our neighborhood, we all used to hang out. Now, my best friend, Chelsea, I talked about her, I believe, in the first podcast episode as well. She was like on and off dating one of the boys who were older, right? Because she was older than me by like 2 or 3 years. So obviously that made sense. And then he had like a best friend who lived in the back of the neighborhood. And I thought he was cute too because, again, white man, light eyes. Do I need to repeat this again? Like, I don't know how to tell you guys I am no better than a white man's whore, okay? I'm sorry to my mother. I'm sorry to my ancestors. It's just ingrained in me. Now, do I love a little Spanish poppy? Yes. Okay. Emilio Zachariah. Ooh. That man could get it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God. When I tell you guys that is my Zayden, I'm being so dead serious. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there's this big discourse on the internet, on Book Talk specifically, where we're trying to figure out who's going to be Zayden from Fourth Wing. And Emilio Zachariah and Josh Houston or something like that are like the 2 that people are like, oh my God, we need one of them to be Zayden. But it's like, clearly in the book, Zayden is not white. So why would we pick the white man? Okay, let's give this like, I believe he's Middle Eastern. I could be wrong, but Oh no, he might be Portuguese. He might be Portuguese. No, he might be Brazilian. Um, I forget. But he's fine. He is fine. But something about a white man, he could colonize his ass. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm no better. I'm doing a disjustice to my ancestors, and I'm sorry, but I feel like they'll forgive me. I feel like they'll forgive me. Anyways, so we're gonna name the guy who was dating on and off my best friend Chelsea growing up. We're gonna name him Danny. Okay, and the other guy's name, we're gonna name him Ryan. Okay, and wait, was that his name? No, it wasn't his name. And I didn't like have a huge crush on them, but it just felt like they were like so cool and like older, and they both had like light eyes. I remember Danny had like these green eyes, and then I believe Ryan also had green eyes, and I just was like but Danny and my best friend Chelsea growing up were like dating on and off, so it was kind of like a no-go, right? And this is kind of where a lot of my insecurities around like, are boys gonna like me kind of thing came around, because I was like Hispanic as fuck as a kid. Okay, like I would be out in the hot sun all day long in my little bikini, and I would be like black. Okay, I'm changing races, no longer Hispanic, I am black. I could pass for Dominican. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I was so dark during the summertime, and I had like really long black hair, and I had a mustache and a unibrow. Like, I was super hairy. This is where all of my insecurities started to come. Okay, and for all my little brown girls out there, or for all my, Hispanic girls, whatever, listen, okay? White girls have just as much of an insecurity as you do about the way that they look, especially at that age range. And you know what they want to look like at that age range? And this is what I've learned from some of my white friends. Now, this is not maybe all white girls, but pretty much from what I've heard of my white friends talking about their insecurities growing up, they all wanted to be tan. They all wanted to be giving Latina mommy. Like, why do you think these Lululemon, Lily Pulitzer ass women are wearing like bright clothes and go to like get the shittiest self tanner that they could find at Walmart and just be rubbing that shit on to the point where they look orange as hell? They look burnt like this blanket. Like, it is so sad that us brown girls are like, I want to be blonde hair, blue eyes, like I want to be white with like no hair. And coming from a more conservative, more traditional family, my mom was like, didn't teach me what shaving was. My mom didn't talk to me about periods. I never got the birds and the bees talk. Like, there was none of this, right? And so all my friends, though, especially because my friend Chelsea growing up was older than me, she was shaving her legs. She had, shaved her armpits. She didn't really have arm hair because she was white, so her arm hair was like really light. She, had blonde hair, blue eyes, super pretty, like freckles, like just the whole 9 yards. Okay, like I looked up to her so much. I thought she was the prettiest person in the whole world, and I felt like I wish I looked like that. I used to also watch the show, if you guys remember the show, it's called Toddlers and Tiaras, and on there the girls would get like these big blonde wigs, they'd do these crazy self tans, they'd have these beautiful blue eyes, and I was like, I want to do that. And I remember, I think I talked about this before, but my brother made fun of me because I said I wanted to look like a toddler in tiara, and I wanted to bleach my hair blonde and have blue eyes. And he laughed at me and told my mom, he was like, Gabby wants to dye her hair blonde and get blue contacts so she could be a toddler in tiara. And that made me cry so hard. Okay, it was an attack. Truly, my brother, the worst. The absolute worst for that. Anyways, so that is where my sort of insecurity of like being a brown girl and like being Hispanic and like not looking super pretty and feminine at a young age, because genetically I'm growing hair like crazy. Okay, I don't remember getting like pubic hair. I don't remember that, to be honest with you. Like, I don't remember being like, whoa. I'm not sure when that started coming around, but I remember vividly having like a unibrow and like being afraid of plucking it or shaving it, because my mom was always like, do not shave your hair, do not touch your hair, like don't. And she was right though, because I'll tell you what, as soon as you start shaving, your hair gets more and more coarse and thicker, okay? Especially because I'm Hispanic. It is so thick and coarse that it's like a no-go, okay? Like, I shave my arms every once in a while when I'm feeling like it, but I try not to because, damn, like, there's just something about when it grows back like thick and coarse and really, really dark. So, again, just super insecure about the way that I looked. So those boys were more of like, I admired them from like afar because one of them was dating my best friend and then the other one was kind of just like older than me and like I didn't really, and he was kind of gross. I remember thinking that he was kind of gross and dirty. So like I didn't have a huge crush on them, but I remember being like, I wish these boys liked me, like how they like my best friend. Now, that would be weird because I was probably like 6 or 7 years old and they were probably like 10 or 11. So yeah, probably weird. Probably shouldn't have been into them. But my best friend's little brother, my same age, she was always like, you guys have to be together. You guys have to date. Like, why don't you like him? Because I'm assuming he had a crush on me and she knew about it, right? But like he was kind of like her annoying little brother. And although I was the same age as him, he felt younger than me. Do you know what I'm saying? And he was like, love him, so sorry to him. I was like, no. No. Like, I was like, no, I don't like him. I don't like him. Okay. But we used to play spin the bottle in our neighborhood. Like, literally, I was kissing boys and girls. Okay. And sometimes we would do like, you would kiss and you would put your hand in between, like, right? Sometimes we would do like a kiss on the cheek. Sometimes we would do a kiss on the forehead. But I was kissing girls and boys. Sorry, Mom. I was. Okay? And what about it? But I remember my first kiss. This is what I understand is my first kiss. There was a little girl who lived next door to me, right? And she was way younger than all of us. Like, I was probably 10 and she was probably like 5 or 4 years old. Like, super young, but we all used to kind of like hang out with her because she had a pool. So we would go to her house. We'd hang out with her because she had a pool. And her grandparents were like on hella welfare. And they had like all the best snacks all the time. So we started going to her house a lot. She had a pool. And I remember, okay, we're going to name, I don't want to expose him, but my best friend growing up, let's say his little brother or her little brother's name is Tanner. Okay, so Tanner and me, okay, constantly being told, like, you guys should be together, you guys should date, blah, 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 right? I'm not into Tanner. But there's a curiosity about boys. And so I'm like, okay, maybe, right? And I still hadn't had, like, my first official kiss at this point because I was so young. And I don't think that we were doing, like, spin the bottle yet. My first kiss was with Tanner. And what happened was, I think we were, like, at the pool. And we used to like play this game where we would like go underwater and you had to like show somebody something or like say something and then we had to like guess. And I don't know why. I think we like went underwater and kissed or something like that. We kissed at one point. I don't even remember it. This is probably sad. I should remember my first kiss, but I don't. I don't really remember it. And yeah. And then after that, like I think he had a big crush on me. And again, I still wasn't into him, but I liked the idea of having a boyfriend. I liked the idea of a boy liking me, okay? So I think I said yes, and I think we dated for like 2 months, and then I broke up with him, and he like ran home crying, and my best friend Chelsea was like, girl, what are you doing? Like, why don't you want to date him? Like, blah, 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 blah. I don't remember really much about that, but that was like my first kiss, okay? And this is like my first experience with boys. And after that, I think we probably kissed like 1 or 2 times, but never really much else after that. Also, Chelsea was the first person who told me what sex was. I remember this so vividly. After school, I used to get off the bus and I would go to her grandma's house because that's where we all used to hang out. Her grandmother had like a den, which is just like, if you don't know what a den is, it's basically just a room that you have that you just kind of like hang out in, right? And so we're hanging out in the den and they were like, oh, we have to go finish our laundry or whatever, because they're doing laundry at their grandma's house. So we go to the laundry room and we're sitting in there, and I don't really know who brought it up, but I think Chelsea was like, do you know what sex is? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, what is it? And I was like, it's like when you like have to, I just made something bullshit up, I think. And she was like, no, that's not what it is. Do you want to know what it is? And I was like, yeah, duh. She's like, basically, it's where a boy puts his thingy inside of a girl and then they have a baby. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. And basically, people call it like you fuck. And that's where I first heard the word fuck. And I was like, fuck? And she was like, yeah, but you can also say fuck like, oh my God, fuck, And I was like, oh. I don't really remember much else, but that was where I first learned what sex was. And so it was just, she was my guide in life, okay? And again, I looked up to her so much. I thought she was like the prettiest person in the world. And it was just so funny. Anyways, so let's go to like elementary school. My first crushes. I think I talked about this. I had a friend growing up who I went to like middle school with, and she was kind of like a mean girl. I don't remember if I said her real name, but her name was Gianna. We're just gonna call her by her real name. Sorry. But Gianna had like a big crush on the boy that I had a big crush on, and then he had like a good friend as well that I also had a big crush on. And I remember being like, oh my God, like they don't think I'm pretty because I'm not white with light eyes. Again, Gianna had like beautiful eyes and she was like so pretty. And, she would like shave her legs and like do all this stuff. I also had these two friends who were twins in elementary school and they were super pretty. Again, light hair, light eyes. Like I was just surrounded by like white people my whole life. And so I found them so pretty and so different and unique. And I think that that's just like shaped a lot of like what I find attractive in men. Because pretty much every man I've ever dated, well, no, that's not true. No, but I gravitate towards white men with light eyes. I just had this like insecurity of the fact that like I'm not a white girl with light eyes, right? And I was into these two boys, right? Then I remember in like the 4th grade, we got a new kid to school and his name was Cyrus. I'm going to use his real name because this was just like so long ago. It doesn't matter. But his name was Cyrus. And I remember being like, oh, like he's like cute, but like he was Hispanic and he didn't have light eyes, I don't think. So I was just kind of like, whatever. But he would like bully me a little bit and like I could tell that he thought that I was cute, right? Like a girl knows even in the 4th grade. Okay, in the 4th grade I was very much aware. And people used to be like, oh, like you guys are flirting, you guys like each other, like blah blah blah. And I'd be like, no. And I fully was. I just like mostly because I liked the attention. Because again, I wouldn't even find a boy attractive, but if he was giving me attention, I was like so intrigued by that because it felt so like forbidden and like taboo to talk to boys that I was like, oh my God, like this boy likes me and this boy wants to be around me and like hee hee ha ha, I don't remember how he asked me to be his girlfriend, but it was really, really funny. His birthday was coming around and he's my boyfriend at this point. And his mom was like, invite your girlfriend. Like his mom knew that he had a girlfriend, right? And there's always like this double standard for like Hispanic parents where it's like when your son has a girlfriend, you're like, aw, versus when your daughter has a girlfriend at the same exact age at the same exact time, you're like, what the fuck? Like now, like you can't date boys. And it's like, okay, whatever. I know it's not just in Hispanic families, but definitely in Hispanic families, there's a double standard for the boys in the family versus the girls. Okay. It's just how it is. I remember being like, oh my God, like, I don't know if I can go to your birthday party. Like, what do I tell my mom that I'm going to a boy's birthday party? Like, no, she's going to know you're my boyfriend and she's not going to let me date you. Like, I can't come. Like, I can't do it. And he's like, just ask her. Like, she's not going to be mad at you. And I don't remember what I said, but I remember being like, hey, Mom, can I go to the party and this party? And she was like, for who? And I was like, oh, his name's Cyrus. Like, all the kids from school are going. It's like right across the street from our school. Because he literally lived in the first house across the street from our school. And she was like, okay, when? And I was like, oh, here's the invitation. And she was like, okay. And I remember being like, what the fuck? Like, are you not going to ask me who this boy is? You're not going to like, do you not know? And I don't know if my mom knew or something, or maybe she was just like, obviously, like if a little boy invites the whole class, he's inviting like the girls too. Like, I don't know if that was like normal to my mom, so she didn't question it, or maybe she knew and she was just kind of like, okay, yeah, you can go to this birthday party. But I remember going and getting dropped off, and I remember being so scared that like my mom was gonna see that like he tries to hold my hand or tries to like kiss me, because I think that he did kiss me at like once or twice, like at the playground, like underneath the playground, and like blah, 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 like whole thing, right? And so I was like, oh my God, like, don't touch me, don't say anything, right? So my mom, like, dropped me off and she waited till I went inside, right? But the party was outside. So I didn't walk inside, I walked around the house to the outside because, like, it didn't have a fence. So I just kind of, like, walked around the house to the back. And I was like, oh, hi, blah, 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 blah. And his mom was like, oh my God, hi, mija, like, blah, blah, blah. I think she was like Puerto Rican or something. She was super nice. And I remember being like, so, like, oh my God, like, she knows I'm dating her son. Like, this is so awkward. Like, I can't touch him. I can't hold his hand. Like, oh my God. And he kept trying to, like, hold my hand to, like, take me places. And I was like, don't hold my hand in front of your mom. He's like, it doesn't matter. Like, she doesn't care, like, blah, blah. And this is, like, the fourth grade. Like, I was just so nervous because I grew up with parents who were like, no touching, no nothing, right? Like, I was so terrified of like my parents finding out that I was like, no, like, don't touch me, don't touch me. And I was just so like afraid, right, of adults seeing us do this stuff because in my house it wasn't normal. And yeah, that was like my first boyfriend. I don't remember why we broke up, but I remember when we broke up, he was like mad at me or like angry with me for something. And then this is when like Facebook became a thing. So I remember like after we broke up, on Facebook, I'd been added by like this other kid who was like super popular, had tons of different girlfriends. I think his name was like Anthony or something. And there was a rumor that him and some other girl had done stuff in the school bathroom, that he had done something with a girl like during the turkey trot. If you guys don't know what a turkey trot is, I don't know if they still do this in schools, but basically you have to like run the whole field like 2 or 3 times. Like you have to run a mile or something, and it's like a turkey trot, and then afterwards you get like a treat or something if you complete the turkey trot. I don't know, but it was like a big deal. Like everybody wanted to be like the first 3 people to finish the turkey trot. Me, I know I was not athletically inclined, so I didn't care. And so I just didn't really, I don't even remember if I ever was the top 3 or 4 people, but it was like turkey trot, and it was like this huge field. Or when I look at the field now, I'm like, that is such a small field. Like I drive past my elementary school sometimes, and because I live really close to it now, and I'll drive by it and I'm like, that it was such a small field, but in my head it was like huge. Like, do you know when I go back to my mom's house, I remember thinking that my mom's house was so big, and now I go to my mom's house and I'm like, it's so small. Like, and I think it's so funny just how small things become as you get older. But there was like a rumor that he went to the back corner, which again, not even that far, and did stuff with a girl, and like he didn't get caught, and like he was just like the player of the school, the like hot guy that everybody wanted to be around, and all the girls had a crush on him and whatnot, right? At some point he added me on Facebook, and Cyrus had heard about it, and it was like drama, something like that. I don't even remember, to be honest with you. Very, very little do I remember of this time, but yeah, very weird thing. But that was like my only boyfriend until I got into middle school. And again, I've told this story before, but my boyfriend went to another school. He added me on Instagram. I don't remember his name, but I remember his username was like monkey boy, like something. And my friends were like, sure, you have a boyfriend. And I was like, no, like look at his Instagram. And he had like 2 pictures on there, and like none of them were of him, because that like wasn't what Instagram wasn't before. Like Instagram used to be like you would take a picture of like the sunset or like a fish or like the lake, and then you would post it with a filter, and it'd be like, so anyways, let's get into my era of thinking boys were my soulmates, okay? Let's start with the boy that I was obsessed with in high school. Oh my God, when I think about this time, I just want to throw my head into a wall, okay? Because I didn't really have a crush on any of the boys who went to my high school until my junior year. Again, a white man with light eyes. I'm just a creature of habit, okay? I don't know. And this boy, was shorter than me. He was in one of my classes, and we're going to give him a name. We're going to name him Kyle. Okay, so Kyle was the love of my life my junior year. I really thought that Kyle and I were going to be together forever. I was like, me and Kyle were in love. Okay, and the way that I was so feral for this man, and I don't remember why. Like, we had so many of the same classes together. I think we had like 3 classes actually together, and the rest of our schedule was identical, except like he would have the class before me or I would have the class before him. And so I would send him answers and he would send me answers. Or like he was super popular, and so he would get answers from like all these other people, from really smart people, and then he would send them to me. Like, it was like we were a team. And something about that team effort really just made me fall in love. I was like, we're soulmates, like we're in love. And I just thought he was so cute, and like I would flirt with him, and I was like mean to him, and right. Number one, he drove my dream car at the time. Okay. I don't even want to say what car it was, but oh my God, I was obsessed with this man. And he drove my dream car. And I knew the specs on his car. I was like, it goes 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds. It's got 600 and something torque. Like, it's got like just all these facts, because I was a car girl for some reason at that era of my life. So when I met him and I found out what car he drove, I was like, no way. I was obsessed. And he was just, sorry, I like fully am sitting with like my legs wide open. This is not like a cute way to sit, but we're spilling some tea. So I was just so obsessed with this boy. And I remember the reason why I thought that we were soulmates, get this. My best friend, Chelsea, growing up, had this older friend, or had this friend of hers, then obviously older than I was at the time. But they were like best friends because they went to the same school together. And in middle school, they were older than me. And I remember she invited me to come with her to her friend's house. Like, and she was like, hey, like, we're going to go to the mall and da-da-da-da-da. So we're going to go to her house, and then her dad is going to pick us up from there, and we're going to go to the mall. Right? And I was like, awesome. So I went to this girl's house. We're going to call her Sarah. Go to Sarah's house. And we go through the garage. And I remember her little brother was like my age, right? And I didn't know that she had a little brother, but he opened the garage door to let us in, and he was like, hey, and we were just like, hey. And I remember seeing him and being like, oh, like, he's my age, right? Didn't think anything of him. Don't even remember really like what he looked like. I just remember meeting her little brother for like a second and being like, oh, she has a little brother my age. Like, that's weird. Like, maybe I know him, right? And because of this, right? And I didn't realize this yet, okay? But about halfway through my junior year, right, he said something about his sister, Sarah. And I was like, hold on, what's your sister's name? And he was like, Sarah. And I was like, what's your last name? And he told me his last name, and I was like, Sarah blank. And I was like, wait, I know your sister. And he was like, what? And I was like, I've been to your house. He was like, what do you mean? And I was like, yeah, like in middle school, my best friend Chelsea was friends with her. And he was like, wait, you know Chelsea? And I was like, yes. And he was like, holy shit. And I was like, yeah, dude. And that just for some reason in my head solidified that we were meant to be together forever. I was like, wow, we're in love. We're meant to be together. We're fated mates. We are fated to be together, right? So after that, oh, baby, when I tell you I became psychotically obsessed with this man, I was like, no, this is my soulmate for life, and I need to find out, like, everything about him. I need to be around him. I need to catch him places. And this is when I had gotten my first car already. Like, I had gotten my first car. And so when I started parking in, like, the student parking lot is when I found out what car he drove. And I used to take the same way home as him, even though it was a longer way for me to get home. Like, I used to try and park as close to him as possible so I could walk in front of his car in the morning and just kind of remind him that I existed. Or like, I remember we used to sit in our cars in the morning, and if I saw anybody get into his car, because he used to vape, right? And like all the kids in my school vaped, and I didn't because I was afraid of my parents. But all the kids in my school would like get in each other's car and like rip their vapes in the morning and then like go to school. Or like dab pens started to be a thing in that era. So like they would rip their dab pens and then go to school, right? So I remember seething with jealousy when I would see girls get into his car and like they would vape and then they would leave, right? And I remember I was like, oh, like, what's your Snapchat? Like, so I can send you, or no, we had already had each other's Snapchats, right? But I started sending him like streaks, which if you don't know what streaks are on Snapchat, they're basically where you send a picture to somebody every single day. And after like, I think it's like 3 days, it starts counting a streak, right? So if you send somebody a picture every day for 3 days, you have a streak, which means like you're in contact with that person. And people have had streaks since middle school. Like I know people to this day who still have like 3,000 freaking day streaks. Like it is insane the way that these people are committed to this streak thing. But if you had a streak with a boy, it was like you and that boy are talking, right? Like, yeah, we have like a 3-day streak, or like, yeah, we have a 40-day streak. Even if they like broke up with boys, they would still send them streaks every day. And it'd be like, it would be a way to like still be in that boy's life. Like you'd be like streaks, and it'd be like the cute, you would try so hard to get like a streak picture and you would send it to everybody, right? Or you would send everybody like a normal streak picture, but you would send that one boy a streak picture, right? So him and I had a streak for a while, and I remember like I would try so hard to get like these beautiful streak pictures for him. Like I was so obsessed with this boy. And I remember like we would sit in front of the school and I would like send him streaks, and I would send him a streak of his car. Are you crazy? Are you psychotic? Yeah, that's me. I would send him streaks of his car. And then on Snapchat, you also can see where your friends are. So if they have it enabled for you to see their location, you can. And he only had it enabled for certain people. And I think I remember I was like, I can't believe you don't have me on your location. And he was like, oh, like I can add you. Like just being a nice guy. Like he was like, oh yeah, like I'll add you to my location thing. Like, and you have to add me to yours too. So I was like, okay, cool. Like because you could switch on and off who could see your location. Like you can make it private, like a private story. Oh, and get this. So what I used to do too, because I had him on Snapchat, is I would have a private story just with him on it. But it was named the exact same thing as my regular private story. So whenever he would like see some stuff, if he were to like cross-reference it with somebody else on my private story, they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm on that one too, right? If he was like, oh, are you on Gabby's World's Snapchat private story, they would be like, yeah. And so it wouldn't be weird. But on his, specifically for him, I would post just try hard ass pictures of me being like I was ugly and I had acne. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And on the way home, we used to like race. Mind you, his car was unbelievably fast. But as a responsible kid he wasn't going to be going 80 miles an hour down freaking a road that is a speed limit of 45. I was like, I don't care. I'll get pulled over. So again, just obsessed with this man. I remember I got drunk at my house. I invited my friend Layla over and our other friend. And I remember this was like towards the end of the school year. And now there was this girl, really quick actually. There was this girl that one day I walked into my anatomy class, and I had this class with him. And she was sitting like next to him. And I was like, who is this bitch? And like obviously like they knew each other. So I was just kind of like, okay. And I remember being like, oh, like I like your shirt, like trying to be nice to her because I wanted him to know that I was like gonna be chill about it because I'm a cool girl. And also like I didn't want to be mean to her because like I didn't know her. So I was just kind of like, oh, like, hey, like I like your shirt. And she was just like, and didn't say anything, like wasn't like thank you, like oh, like thanks you too, like blah blah, nothing, right? And I didn't even know her, I didn't know her name, whatever. So later that day I like Snapchatted him about it, and I was like, who's that girl, and like what's going on, like why was she like mean to me? And he was like, well, you know, like we were talking for a little bit, but I kind of like cut it off, and she like is obsessed with me. Like, she won't leave me alone, right? Lying asshole. Okay, like, I just know he was lying to me, but at the time I was like, what? Like, she's crazy, like, blah blah blah. Oh my god, this was so raggedy. And because he was like, no, she's crazy, like, she won't leave me alone, like, she keeps trying to, like, get in my car in the mornings, and I keep telling her, like, no. And this was like towards like winter break, where we were getting like weird days where like you'd be done with schoolwork and your teachers would kind of be like, yeah, just like float around the school, I guess. And so only certain teachers would do it. And so she would float around the school right down to go see him, to go see my love of my life, Kyle. And she would go see Kyle and would sit there, and she'd be so rude to me. And I remember being like, oh my God, like, you are ridiculous, right? Like, I hated her. And she, if I saw her in the hallways, like, I started seeing her everywhere because now I was aware of her. So she would like shove me in the hallways. And I was like, girl, I am not, like, I knew that like Kyle did not like me. Okay. But I really wanted him to. Like, I was really hoping that he would wake up and be like, this is the love of my life. And I was like, girl, like, no. And I started seeing his location, and his location would go to this house, right? And I'd be like, girl, where is this house? I pulled that shit up on Google Maps. Like, I pulled that shit up on Google Maps, and I cross-referenced that house with like her friend's Instagram posts. And I did some investigative work. I found out where that bitch lived. And I knew he went over there, and he was there, and he posted a picture at her house on his Snapchat because it was like floral bedding or some shit, or there was like a picture that was that he posted. I was like, that's a girl's room. And then at first I thought it was somewhere else, but that was where his sister lived. And I was like, oh, never mind. And then I remember winter break happened. I didn't see him for like 2 weeks. And then that was when I got really, really drunk one night, I think, at my mom's house with my friends. Sorry, Mom. And I'm like drunk, passed out on my like couch basically, and I'm like sitting here crying because this boy isn't in love with me. My best friend Layla has a video of this on her Snapchat. It's so embarrassing. I also have videos of me just like drinking and being like so upset over this boy because I was like, he doesn't like me, and he's over at this girl's house, and he likes her more than me. And of course, she's white, light eyes, like pretty. I was like, oh my God, just so upset. And I was like, I never am the first choice. Like, I'm sitting here sobbing, crying over this man. Because I was like, dude, we're soulmates. We're fucking soulmates. Like, I was so convinced that this man was my soulmate because we had one connection in a small town. Like, okay. And so, so then we went back to school, and I started literally turning off my location, and I would go to where his location was just to like be caught up near him, right? Like, if I saw that he was like down towards the Walmart, like, I'd be like, oh Mom, I gotta go to Walmart. And I'd go to Walmart, and I'd drive there, and I'd like try to run into him, but by the time I'd get there, he would be leaving. Like, of course. Like, I would be doing just the craziest, stupidest shit. Or like, I would just watch his location all day. Like, I wouldn't even go. Sometimes I would just like, well, most of the time I wouldn't go because, you know, and because I was like, okay, that's a little bit too crazy. But, you know, I just was so insane. Like, his parents had 2 houses, and one of them was down by the beach, right? And I remember one day I was like hanging out with my friends down by the beach late at night, and I was like, oh, let's go down this way. There's like a boardwalk down this way. I walked my friends down his street just so I could see his parents' house. Like, he wasn't even there, I don't think. And my friends knew that I had this big crush on him, and they were like, girl, like, what are we doing? Like, this is his car. Or no, yeah, because his car was parked out front. They were like, oh, isn't this so-and-so's car? And I was like, oh, like, maybe. And they're like, bitch, you knew this was his street, didn't you? And I was like, no. And we walked down the street. There was no boardwalk. We walked back up. And just shit like that I was like, I need him to know I exist. I need him to be like obsessed with me and in love with me, just like I'm obsessed and in love with him. And it was just so psychotic and crazy. Just in one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. Truly. And yeah, we never dated. I remember the last day of school came, and I was like, oh, like, I want a picture with you. And he was like, yeah, like, maybe. I was like, no, like, I want to like hug you goodbye. He's like, yeah, yeah, maybe like, I've got to say goodbye to like some other people really quick, and then I'll be at my car. And like, I waited near his car, and then I was like, okay, this is weird, so I'm just gonna go to my car and like watch his car from my car. But by the time I like looked at his car, it was gone. Like, he was waiting for me to leave his car. Like, I guarantee you, he was waiting for me to leave his car just so that he could get in it and leave. Like, no pictures, no nothing, like, at all. And I think I tried to like make plans with him to hang out around the summer because I was moving to California, and I was like, this man is in love with me. Like, he's got to come with me to California. Like, I was like, he has to stay with me. Do you know what I'm saying? And then I think I just like forgot about him. And then I moved to California, and I was the new bitch, and I had boys obsessed with me, just absolutely obsessed with me. And this is where we get into like my first real relationship that I thought was my absolute soulmate, okay? And here's what I want to reiterate first, okay? Now that I'm in a relationship with my boyfriend now, super healthy relationship, not that we haven't had like our trials, not that we haven't had like fights or arguments or things that have like caused us to beef or whatever, but never once has my boyfriend yelled at me. I've never yelled at him. There's never been like slamming of doors, like aggressive, like grabbing or fighting, like never any of that. That is not normal. Like, I don't know when this became so normalized of like, oh, we're gonna like have arguments and blah blah blah. If a man doesn't regulate your nervous system, like if he doesn't have like, if he causes your nervous system to be like up down up down up down, that is not a relationship you should be in. And I learned that the fucking hard way. Okay, I learned it the hard way. And yes, you're gonna have times in your life where like you and your partner are super like, especially once you get like into a long-term relationship and you live together. Like, Jake and I have been together for almost like a year and a half or 2 years now. We've lived together for pretty much that entire time, and there's been times in our relationship where we were like super like in love, and like we've always been in love, but what I mean is like we're obsessed with each other and we want to spend all this time together and blah 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 blah. And then life happens, and then we don't spend that much time together, and we get kind of busy, and we kind of forget about like spending time in our relationship. And then we kind of remember again, and then and you go through phases. And I feel like it's very normal to have that, where it's kind of like you're on and off of like spending tons of time together to like, okay, we need to like chill out because we have like other things to do. And then and it's kind of, and not only that, but it's like you also have like the medium where it's like you spend some time together, but you're not like doing crazy exciting things. You're just kind of like doing day-to-day life things together. But the boring shouldn't be boring. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you find the mundane life, you need to figure out if it's you or your partner. Because if day-to-day life with your partner is so boring to the point where you're like, God, like I just don't even want to be in this relationship, it's probably because you're not that in love with your person. Or if you constantly crave like the toxic arguing, there, you need to go to therapy. Like, you really need to go to therapy and figure out why you think that that's normal, because it's not normal. And for example, like I have these new neighbors, and they seem like nice people, but dude, like they've lived here for less than a month, and I've already heard them like slamming doors, arguing, screaming, like crying twice in the last month. And now like moving is a very stressful thing, but Jake and I moved at a very extremely stressful time, and then immediately Jake had gone through like this horrible week, and we didn't like heavy argue, or we didn't, like there was none of that. And so it's just not normal to argue like that. And I think if a man and a woman are constantly going at each other's throats like that, or any relationship, it's not healthy, man. And you need to take a step back. But I didn't know this. Okay, I didn't know this at one point in my life. So my first relationship, I dated this boy. I don't remember if I gave him a fake name or not, but I feel like he would try to persecute me legally. So we're going to use a fake name for him. We're going to call him Josh. Okay, we're going to call him Josh. And Josh was a piece of shit. Josh locked me in a hot car in the desert. Didn't give a fuck about my well-being. But Josh and I met over Instagram during the pandemic, right after school had gone shut down. We had started texting, or I think like right before school got shut down, we had started texting. And Josh's arch nemesis, Brian, basically and him and I were texting for a long time. We were flirting. Like, I knew him from school, right? And Josh had gotten kicked out of our school, but he had told me that really what happened was that he was going to like online college, so he didn't need to be at school anymore. He had like graduated early, right? Which I think is true, but he also kind of got kicked out of school for like assaulting his ex-girlfriend, but I didn't learn that until later. So I thought that this man was my soulmate at some point in my life. Like, I remember just being like, oh my God, like, this boy is in love with me. Like, he loves me. He's so this, he's so that. Like, and never once did he take me on a date. Never once did he, buy me flowers or treat me right. Like, never once. And I was so delusional about that he was my soulmate. And I'll tell you why. Because it is an addiction when somebody gives you really low lows and really high highs, because you're constantly getting dopamine rushes to your brain. That's what causes an addiction to this unhealthy, disgusting relationship with horrible fucking people. This man used to yell at me. We used to play Fortnite. I know, but we were in high school, okay? We used to play Fortnite all together with like his friends and some of my friends, but especially when I would play with his friends, he would be like, you stupid fucking slut, don't fucking do that shit again, or stop fucking dying. Like, he wouldn't revive me, because like when you would play in a squad on Fortnite, just quick lesson, one of your squad members dies, you have the ability to revive them. And he'd be like, I'm not fucking reviving you, you're so fucking stupid. Like, blah, 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 yelling at me. And his friends would call me and be like, specifically his one friend would call me and be like, hey, like, are you okay? Like, it's really embarrassing being like friends with a guy like that, like blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't deserve to be treated like that. Like, I'm going to talk to him about it. He never did. And they're still friends to this day, I bet. So whatever. But, like, he just would be so fucking mean and disgusting to me. And I was obsessed with him. Like, I was obsessed. I was like, this man is my soulmate. And he was also my first. And that experience was one that I'm not even sure I want to really talk about much on the internet, because it's embarrassing. It's truly so embarrassing the way that I allowed this man to just do the absolute bare minimum, and I was in love. I was enamored, okay, with this boy. He was so mean, so aggressive. He only wanted me for my body, and it was really, really fucking difficult to wake up and be like, he doesn't care about you. Like, and if there are women out there that you're in a relationship and anytime your man argues with you, instantly it's like sex, right? Or anything that happens between you, sex is a solution. That's the only solution that there is. There's never a real resolution. Like, he'll say something like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have said that, blah, blah, blah. But he never actually apologizes for it and like shows you a change in action. And after every single fight, it's like sex. Just sex. Anytime you want to hang out, sex. Like, he can't see you without sex. He doesn't love you. Or he has a sex addiction. But 90% of the time, I'm going to tell you right now, he does not love you. He only wants you for your body. And if that is all your relationship is with a man, and that's what you want, great. Awesome. But make sure that you understand that if that's 90% of what you spend your time doing with your partner, that is not a real relationship. That is just purely physical. And especially for that man. And you are constantly and repeatedly allowing him to do that to you. And you are under the illusion that he is in love with you. And that means that he's in love with you. It doesn't. It doesn't. Okay? I would say for like 90% of men, maybe 99% of men, the act of sex is not emotional. And again, tons of exceptions to that. And I think as men grow up, they get out of that, like where it's just like sex is all they think about. I think men will grow out of that. But my God, the way that I was so delusionally in love with this man while he didn't give a singular fuck about me. Insane, embarrassing. Like, I think about it and I'm like, wow, I cannot believe I allowed that. And I like to say it in the sense of like, I allowed that because it helps me understand if I'm ever in that situation again, which thankfully I don't think I'll ever have to be in that again. I think I learned my lesson. But after that, I would always be like, I'm allowing this, right? If a man did anything that bothered me, I'd be like, I'm allowing this because I can walk away, right? Like, And taking that power back to being like, I allowed him to do that, not like he's doing it to me, because that, the victim mindset, which like I probably was a victim, but like the victim mindset doesn't really help me to get on top of it and kind of like push forward. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if I was like, he's doing this to me, he's doing this to me, makes me feel more powerless. Whereas me being like, I allowed him to do that shit, that allows me to take my power back and say, okay, and I can allow him not to do it. And I can tell him no. And I can take a step back and I can walk away. And it took me a while, but I did. But my God, when I tell you, I thought he was my soulmate. And like, baby girl, if a man has never taken you out on a date, bought your dinner, bought you flowers, wrote you a love letter, said something kind to you, has never truly just poured his soul to you, poured out his heart for you, he doesn't love you. Walk away. Walk the fuck away. I'm telling you right now, he is not in love with you. No matter, and like I hear of girls in situationships all the time. That was a situationship, except he was my boyfriend. Okay? And then he broke up with me over text. Okay? And I remember driving home. I'm driving home from this party. It was COVID times again. And he was super upset that I'd gone to this party with my friend. Mind you, this is the only party or like large group gathering I'd gone to since lockdown. It was like 2 months into lockdown. And he was like, you're a fucking slut, like blah, blah, blah. If you go to that party, I don't want to see you for 2 fucking weeks because you're going to get me and my family sick, like blah, blah, blah. And he broke up with me over text. I was with a boy at this party. Super sweet guy. His name is Cody. Super sweet kid. He was like the life of the party, right? And he was like dancing and like blah, blah, like white boy, again, light eyes. So I thought he was cute, but I was in a relationship. So I was like, no. But in order to make my man jealous, because again, he had me used to this like toxic ass, like back and forth, right? I was posting me getting ready for the party. I posted Cody dancing at this party. I was like, look at me with this boy, right? When I got the text of like, I think we should just be friends, I started crying at that party. And I was like sitting in the back corner and Cody walked up to me and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, like I didn't want to like tell him too much because I don't know. Like I didn't know him. That was my first time meeting him. But he was like, is it a boyfriend or something? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, it's okay. It's just he's kind of a piece of shit. And he was like, well, you seem like a great girl. Like you deserve to, be happy. And I just remember having him talk to me so kindly. I was like, my fucking God, my own boyfriend doesn't even talk to me like that. Like, how fucking sad is it? And that was what really kind of like woke my mind up. And I was like, fuck this kid. He walked me out to my car, right? I'm driving home. And if my ex-boyfriend sees this, bro, send this shit to me. Like, seriously, send me this fucking voice memo. But my God, I sent my ex-boyfriend this voice memo of me on Instagram of me being like, you're a fucking piece of shit and I fucking hate you and you make me feel like shit about myself and you're fucking crazy and you need to go to fucking therapy and blah, blah, fuck you. And I like crashed the fuck out on this man. And I remember I was sobbing so hard. I'm driving like 55 miles an hour. I'm swerving because I can't see, like tears streaming down my face so hard. And I have a picture, actually. I logged into my old Snapchat the other day just to find a picture from like high school, but I found these pictures of me with my eyes like so swollen shut. It was like literally golf balls, okay, for eyes. And I was just so upset. And after that, we were still hooking up, hanging out, but as friends, like, gosh, just so fucking stupid. Like, babe, he is not your soulmate. Let him go. Like, seriously, stop wasting your fucking time on men that are so worth garbage, worth absolutely fucking nothing. Absolutely nothing. No. God, just so awful. And I've also been in a relationship. The other relationship I've ever been, because I've only been in like, I would say 3 adult relationships in my life. My second real relationship was with this guy who just was so not in my league. And I don't mean that in like I'm better than him. But like, he didn't have a job for most of our relationship. He didn't have any money. He was like broke as hell, was just not at all, again, not at all anything. But I had gone from the extreme of like being treated like shit to him who was like, yeah, he was kind of like a loser, but he was treating me like a queen. Like, he was like being so sweet to me and so kind to me and like complimenting me and being around me. And it's like, I just was so happy to not be in that complete opposite of like, you're a fucking stupid slut, fuck you, you stupid cunt whore. Like, to, baby, you're so beautiful. You look so amazing today, honey. Like, I love you so much, that I was like enamored with him. Like, and again, very physical relationship, but he was so sweet to me that like, I don't harbor, like, we broke up and it was very civil. Like, I broke up with him. It was very civil. We talked a little bit afterwards. I think we hung out once afterwards, and it was so awkward and uncomfortable. And I could tell that he really wanted to get back together, but I was like, obviously I don't want to be with you. So like, I just stopped. Like, I haven't heard anything from him since. I don't know anything about him now, but like, he was just super kind to me. And for that, I'm extremely grateful of like, he was really sweet to me. But again, words only go fucking so far. Like, a man making promises to you or saying like, oh, like when I do this or when I do that, it's just, girl, walk away. Like, also, especially for young, life is too fucking short for you to just take whatever you can get. And especially women. And I need you to lock in with me right now. Okay, women. Men are the ones that should fight for you. And I'll tell you why. Because we hold the fucking lock and key for this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, a man cannot have sex with whoever he wants. A man is allowed to have sex with whoever he wants. And don't you ever fucking forget it. And this is what I'm saying. I'm all for women being liberated and go out there, girly. But you allowed that man to touch you. And for my men out there, don't forget, I hold the lock and key to this. Okay? I do. And when I became aware of that fact, I was like, why the fuck would I just give that key to anybody? And I don't mean like be celibate, don't do anything, don't do that, no. But I mean, and this is what I learned, is everybody who has access to this affects you just a little bit. Just a little bit. Now, everybody works a little bit differently, but especially for me, it affected me, every single person. I was like a little bit different afterwards. Just a little bit different. And so claiming that power of being like, I allow, game changer. Game fucking changer. So for my girlies out there, fucking take your goddamn power back. Stop letting a man give you false promises, treat you like shit, talk to you, give you really high highs and really low lows, like never doing anything for you, never being romantic, never, telling you his feelings, not communicating with you. If a man is not doing bare fucking minimum of having emotional intelligence and gentleness and kindness for you, he is not your fucking soulmate. Wake the fuck up. And get out of there, girl. Like, get the fuck out of there. Because you deserve better than that. So, that's all I wanted to say today. I just wanted to remind the girls that you can do fucking better. And you don't need to put up with bullshit ass men who are worth fucking garbage. Absolute garbage. And I love you. Okay? But damn. So, slay. Oh my gosh, you guys. So really, really quick, I wanted to do my yuck and yums for the week because I didn't do it last week. But my current yum is this book. I ate Phantasma up. Okay, this is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. This is for my romantasy girlies who also love anything dark academia. If you like trials, okay, if you like, tests, if you like mind fucking things, and like, this is so good. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I was afraid that this was going to be kind of like a shitty romantasy, But no, this is so, 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 so good. So, highly recommend this. So, this is my yum for the week. And this week, I don't have any yucks. I ain't got no yucks. Nothing that I tried this week that I wasn't a fan of. Nothing that happened to me this week that I wasn't a fan of. I had a pretty good week. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, you guys, thank you guys so much for tuning into the podcast. We upload a new podcast episode every single Monday. Make sure you guys are following us on all social medias. Everything is linked down below. Check out my personal vlog channel. I did a reading vlog for Phantasma and Behold the Dreamers. And I'm going to continue to do more book-related content, more wellness-related content, fitness-related content, stuff like that. So if you guys want to go check that out, it'll be on my vlog channel. Check out my Instagram as well. I do post a ton of content on there. So I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.